Welcome to Nerd on Nerd with me, Jack Kempster.
And me, Liam Underwood. And in this episode, we will be discussing Nameless, a suggestion from Jack this week.
Why point out that it's me? Right, you didn't like it, and you're pinning the blame.
I want people to... if people read this and enjoyed this, I want them to know who to thank.
You're a dickhead.
What?
Carry on.
What do you mean? No, what's wrong with that?
Are you denying that you're a dickhead?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Because clearly, Liam, you didn't enjoy Nameless, and you want people, in your head you're going, people aren't going to have enjoyed this, so I'm going to blame it on Jack as early as I can.
I don't think people will have bothered to have read this.
No, but there are people that will have read it and will have opinions.
I think that people that would have already read this would have probably liked it.
How does that make any sense?
Well, maybe that's a little hint as to how much I enjoyed it, perhaps.
Now it's time for Liam's favourite part of the show, catching up with Jack and Liam.
With me, Liam.
And me, Jack.
What have you been up to then?
I've not been up to much, Liam.
No?
I've been working a lot, so I haven't actually had a lot of time to myself.
Well, after your little vacation in the hot tub, maybe it's about time you got some work done.
Go fuck yourself, mate.
No, but work's been going well, yeah?
Oh, yeah, wonderfully.
Yeah, I know you've been working late a couple of nights, and because you enjoy your job so much, that's probably quite like a nice little treat for you, really.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Who doesn't want to work for 48 hours in a row and then fall asleep at their desk?
Yeah. I have some questions about this.
Yeah, dude. I'm sure there'll be the same questions that everyone's asked me, and also probably the same questions that I want answered.
Let's go through those questions. What have you been asked?
I have been asked, when you woke up at 11 in the morning, did anyone on your desk say anything to you? The answer to that is no. No one commented on the fact that I had been asleep at my desk until I went to go home at like 1 in the afternoon.
Well, and then someone commented.
They just went, oh, did you work all night then? Which makes me think they didn't realise I was asleep at my desk.
Wow.
Like, that's the thing, I don't understand. Because I was sitting up. It's not like, I don't think I'd fallen over or anything.
Yeah, you weren't like sort of sprawled on a keyboard.
No, I might have had my head on my arms maybe, but I don't really... I literally woke up so confused that I don't really remember what I was doing.
Okay.
But yeah, it's weird, right?
Yeah, no, that's weird. Because you would think, like, if you were there in the morning, like, as people would have come in, they'd have been like, morning, Jack.
Yeah, because we all say good morning to each other, all that stuff.
Yeah.
You'd imagine someone would have asked me something and I didn't reply, and then they must have known I was asleep. I can't...
Like, imagine...
Like, I don't feel bad about being asleep. I want to clarify. I don't feel bad about being asleep. I was there for 48 hours, so...
Yeah, that's...
quite reasonable that I had fallen asleep.
Imagine if you'd been dead, though. Like, how long would it have taken them to figure that out?
Like, 3 days, and they're like, Jesus, Jack's still asleep at his desk.
And there's a weird smell starting to happen. Yeah, that's not good. So
wake him up and tell him he should go shower.
Yeah,
no, it's weird, right? I don't know. But go on, what are your questions then? I mean, that's the main one that I have been trying to figure out.
Yeah, so I would like to know why you had to work for 48 hours.
Because a graphic that I was doing was going up after the 48 hours, and it kept getting changed, which is common in what I do.
Be expected, right?
Yeah, but it got delayed, had changes done, so then I had to sit there and try and work out these changes, make sure everything was working on our site, because it works in a different way than we usually do.
Yeah.
It was just hell.
Okay. My next question is, like, 48 hours is like 2 full days, right?
Yeah, I woke up at 7:15 on Tuesday.
Right.
And I fell asleep at my desk at 7:15 Thursday. No. Yeah, 7:15 Thursday.
So, again, let's figure out. So you started on Tuesday.
Yep.
Worked all through Tuesday night.
Yeah, I came home. It must have been Wednesday to Friday.
Okay, so you started Wednesday.
Yeah.
You worked all through Wednesday night.
I came home Wednesday night.
Yeah.
But then when I was sitting at my desk doing work at home, because I was like, I've got some stuff that I need to finish, so I'll just do it at home because it'll be easier.
Of course.
Then at 4 in the morning, I was like, I think I might be doing this all night.
Yeah.
So then went into work, stayed at work, did work.
So this is Thursday now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Then everyone went home.
Yeah.
Then I stayed there.
Yeah.
And then at about 3 in the morning, I finished my work.
And you thought, time for a little sleep?
Or was it 3? No, it might have been 4. It was something ridiculous, like some moment of time. No, see, I didn't think I need to sleep. It was like at 4 in the morning, I was like, oh no, it can't have been 4. No, it must have been like 6. Dude, I think it was like 6 in the morning. Because I remember thinking, there's no point me getting a night bus now.
Yeah.
So that'll be an hour. and I know that I need to talk to people because they were basically I'd done everything I could without them there.
Yeah.
Like the guys that wanted the graphic, there was like a couple of bits that I was like, what do you want me to do with this? I can't see a solution. You need to tell me what you want.
Okay.
So I was like, well, I'll just stay here. I'll watch YouTube. I'll play on my DS because Pokemon had just come out and I was playing that.
Of course, and we'll be talking more about that in a future episode, won't
exactly.
we? So, let's tease. Dangle the carrot. Come back for that.
Oh, maybe we'll talk about Pokemon. Ooh, sometime. But then,
maybe.
So I was doing that.
There was a crystal ball. Yeah.
I was doing that, and then I was getting so tired. Like, I've never done 48 hours before. And honestly, the things that were happening, like, at one point I was like, oh, I need to get up and just walk around to, like...
Yeah. Just have a stretch.
Try and stay awake. I have never had it before where when I'm walking, I'm so tired that I can feel myself falling asleep whilst moving.
That's probably not healthy.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is bad. I need to go back to my desk and sit down. And then next thing I know, it's 11 in the morning and everyone's there.
That must have been really this kind of...
it was so mad. Dude, I was literally just like... I could hear people talking, and I looked over and I was like, oh, everyone's in. And then I looked at my watch and I was like, oh, it's 11. What? What's happened?
I mean, it doesn't sound like the best of times, to be honest.
It wasn't, Liam, I'll be honest with you. It wasn't the best of times.
But, Christmas is coming.
Yep, that's true. I don't know how that bears on the working, but yep.
Well, no, because obviously you like Christmas.
I love Christmas, Liam.
So that's going to kind of make it a bit easier, isn't it, really, all this work?
Yeah, well, so long as you don't make me watch any shitty films like Christmas Evil.
Mm.
Oh, which you will be. Fine, god damn you.
Hey. Have no follow-up.
Fair enough.
You might like this one. Hey, this is the unwritten rule with Nerd on Nerd, is we go into all of these things with an open mind.
I haven't been told what I'm watching yet. I'm allowed to be as negative as I want until you announce what we're doing, and then I will be neutral.
And open-minded.
Yep.
If anything, hopeful for the best, I think.
I mean, that is primarily what it is. I want you to give me a good Christmas film because I love Christmas so much.
What makes a good Christmas film?
You know what? I'm not sure.
Maybe that's something that we can ponder on a future Christmas special episode.
We'll do a special episode called What Makes a Good Christmas Film?
Let's do that. All right.
Where two idiots tell you what they think makes a good Christmas film.
I could tell you the answer right here, right now, Jack.
I don't know if you could.
I could. It's literally everything that's in Die Hard.
Now, see, okay, so here's my thing. I love saying Die Hard's a great Christmas film, and it is. It's a perfect Christmas film. It's wonderful.
Yes.
It's not a Christmas film, though. It is a Christmas film in that it takes place at Christmas. You can watch it at Christmas. I have no issue. I love watching it at Christmas. I think it's great. But it isn't in the Christmas genre. It's a Christmas time film where you can watch it at Christmas, and it takes place over Christmas, but it is not a Christmas genre film.
It is a Christmas genre film.
No, it isn't. There's no Santa in it.
So by that logic, right,
Mm-hmm.
It's a Wonderful Life, which is widely regarded as one of the
Never
best...
seen it.
Still, you've heard of it, right?
Is Santa in it?
No.
Then it's not a Christmas film.
So, to be a Christmas film, it has to have Santa.
I'm only saying that because I want to see how many people I can annoy.
I think a lot.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to think, like, how many Christmas films actually have Santa in?
Quite a lot.
I mean, did the
Santa Claus 1, 2, and 3 have Santa in it?
Do they, though?
Yeah, I'm not saying actual Santa Claus. Is a Santa Claus in it?
Oh, just a Santa Claus?
Yeah. Like, Elf has a Santa in it, and
Bad
the real Santa, I guess. Bad Santa has a Santa Claus in it.
Does it have to be like a person?
Ooh. Do you mean like an inflatable Santa?
Yeah. Or like a statue, or like a model drawing, even.
I'm not sure.
What about a Santa saying?
If someone goes ho ho ho.
Yeah, because that is in Die Hard.
Yeah, now I remember that.
So, Santa's presence is felt.
Alright, it's back in the genre.
Hey! I saved Die Hard and therefore Christmas.
Congratulations, Liam.
Thank you. So next week we're doing a next episode we're doing a Christmas special for you lucky listeners.
Yeah.
So get the mince pies ready. I like a good mince pie. But before we get to all that, we're sort of skipping ahead a little bit, aren't we?
Yeah, you haven't told me what you've done in the last 2 weeks.
Because I haven't really done a lot, Jack.
Neither have I. Come up with something, mate. Bullshit.
I have unpacked more stuff.
How's that going?
It's not terrible. I prioritised. I've got all my films out now.
Yep.
So they're looking pretty good. Didn't realise how many there are in my to-watch pile.
How many?
I did a rough calculation. Basically, I counted one shelf and then times it by the amount of shelves there are.
Yeah. So the bad thing, already, just before you tell me the number, the bad thing about that, Liam,
Yeah.
is if you have to do maths
Yeah.
to figure out how many films you've got to watch,
Yeah.
that's not good.
No. It's over 700,
That's too many.
and I opened up a new box which had more films in that have to be added to the to-watch pile. Also, I did buy 4 more films today.
How have you got to that number of films to watch?
So, I'll tell you how, Jack. It's very simple. I go into HMV,
Yep.
and I go, I really want to see this one film, like this one specific film. And then I find it, and lo and behold, it's only in a bloody 5 for 30 deal, and you would be a fool, an absolute fool, to not capitalise on a deal like that. So suddenly, I've gone to HMV for one film, I now have to find an additional 4.
Yep, sure.
Do that a few times, it starts adding up. Amazon have deals on, they're cracking sometimes. I got 2 Blu-rays that I wanted, that were on my wish list, just a little bit over £6 for 2 new Blu-rays.
That's ridiculous. Now, Liam,
Yeah.
I've just done a little bit of quick maths of my own here.
Yeah.
I don't want this to hurt you.
Let's not do math.
No, it's fun maths, because I feel like me and the listeners will enjoy hearing this.
Right?
So I did a little bit of maths. I did 700 divided by 5.
Yeah.
So I broke all of those films that you haven't watched into 5, Liam. And then we did 5 for 30. So I did 140 times 30, Liam.
Yeah.
Now, this is how much money you have effectively wasted by not watching these films.
Yeah.
It's 4,200, Liam.
Hey, do you know what's really, really upsetting about all that?
The number?
No, but like the 5 for 30 don't make up all of it. Like I have a lot of steelbooks.
Some are more expensive.
And they're like 10 to 15 quid a pop.
So this is like the minimum it could ever possibly be.
Yeah, that's really...
Liam, this is real bad.
So, my name is Liam, and I have a problem.
I think you might. It was just the fact that you said, and you'd be a fool not to get the 5 for 30. And I was like, well, I think you might have been a fool.
No. You would be. It's a great deal, Jack. It's a great deal.
No, but it is a good deal if you watch the films.
Look, here's the thing. It's not like they're never going to get watched. They're there, ready and waiting, when the mood strikes.
I think we need a new segment.
Which is?
What we should do is, I'll keep this total, and you tell me when you get through one of those films or when you add to that pile, and we'll keep track of the total that you've wasted on films until you've watched them all.
100% the issue is, like, I do not watch as many as I pick up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So this is wasted money.
So you're asking, how do you get to 700? It's real easy. You do the 5 for 30, you watch the one that you went to go and get, and those additional 4 just pile up.
Do you ever accidentally buy duplicates?
No, I'm pretty good at knowing what I've got.
I mean, that's quite impressive by itself.
Yeah, I think so. Speaking of films, though, the other thing they've started doing in HMV now, this isn't a plug, HMV don't sponsor us, unfortunately, but,
Yep, that's true.
you know, it's what I've been doing with my life, so it counts. They started doing this 3 for 25 deal with some newer films.
Okay.
And I wanted to recommend one of the films to you that I watched recently. Because I did this deal, I picked up a film called Victoria, which I haven't got around to watching yet.
Okay.
I watched The Boy, which was also in this deal, which it was a Lauren Cohan film.
Oh, all right.
She's Maggie in The Walking Dead.
Yep.
And it's about this weird, like, porcelain doll thing.
Oh,
You might
okay.
have seen trailers for it.
It sort of rings a bell when you said it. I was like, ooh.
It wasn't bad. It honestly wasn't bad. But then, like, the last, 15 minutes sort of weren't very good. But the movie I want to talk about, the third in this 3 for 25, was a film called Anomalisa.
Okay.
Now, it's a, like puppetry of sorts. Like stop motion animation, right?
Yep.
It's like that, which I'm not normally a big fan of. I just feel like it takes so long. Why not just fucking film someone do it?
Right.
Like, it honestly, stop motion animation pisses me off, to be honest.
Jesus Christ.
It's so frustrating because you're watching it and like sometimes you'll notice little glitches here and there where like, you know, they've moved something very slightly but something else has been brushed and that's annoying. And then you just think, it probably took you a week to animate this one character just like walking into a room. Just fucking film someone. You're done in 10 seconds, mate.
Wallace and Gromit would have been a lot more shit if it was live action.
I'm not a big fan of Wallace and Gromit.
Not a big fan, did you say?
Yeah, it doesn't really tickle my bows.
You need to fuck right off.
Well, anyway, Anomalisa, stop motion
Yes.
animation. It's directed by Charlie Kaufman, I think.
That means nothing to me.
I thought it might, but obviously we have other listeners who are a bit more switched on.
Yep.
Yeah, it is Charlie Kaufman. That's good. You might know Charlie Kaufman. It's not like it's his first time film. He also did Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Minds.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah. Honestly, Jack, I would love for you to watch this film and give your opinion on a future episode.
What is it? Why are you suggesting it to me?
Because I really enjoyed it, and especially considering I despise this animation style.
Yeah, that's quite impressive.
I was just blown away by it. And it also helps the listeners understand that sometimes Liam's mind can be changed.
Yeah, when Liam goes out and finds something in a deal and is forced to watch it and then has to convince himself it's good because he's got so many fucking films anyway.
No, but genuinely, I want your opinion on it because I want to talk to you about it. But I don't want to say too much about what it's about because I don't want to spoil anything.
Okay, well, I'll get it watched.
Yeah, thank you. Maybe like a little sort of bonus, like catching up with bonus, you know? Like a little sexy bonus for our listeners.
Sure.
Thank you. I went to the cinema.
Oh?
You'll never believe it. It's only time for bloody Liam went to the cinema, and now it's his spoiler-free reviews of the things that he saw at the cinema.
Go on. What did you go and see, Liam?
I went to 2 unlimited screenings in the last 2 weeks. Now,
what does that mean?
For those that don't understand, my local cinema, you can get like what's called an unlimited card, which is what I have, and that lets you go to films and you don't have to like pay, essentially. Like you pay for the card, but you don't pay to see each film.
Yeah.
And what they sometimes do, if you have these cards, is they'll do like advanced showings, like a few days before the film actually comes out.
Oh, okay, that's quite cool.
So take, for example, the new Disney animation film Moana, which I believe came out this weekend in the UK. I went to see it last Saturday.
Ooh!
And the reason why this is so damn good is because I do not like children in the cinema.
Yeah, I think we know that from past.
Yes, and obviously you cannot go to a film like Moana and grumble at the fact that there's children in cinema. It's made for them.
Yeah, yeah.
Also, if it was just me sat there, I would look weird. So, absolutely perfect for this sort of thing. And I have to say, I don't know if you know too much about the film, but it's sort of like Hawaiian set, has like that sort of vibe to it. It has Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson doing a voice. Super good, Jack.
Well, I'm glad, because I really want to see that one.
Yeah, some of the songs were like written by Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Oh, cool.
Really catchy. Like, they're real like earworms. I'd say they're the sort of songs that maybe like, you'll listen to the first time, and you're like, it was good, and then you'll just find it stuck in your head, and you'll be like, I'll listen to it again, and then you're fucked. You're down a rabbit hole of listening to the whole soundtrack.
How many times have you listened to the whole soundtrack now?
So many. What I like as well is like if you're familiar with Lin-Manuel Miranda, you can really tell that like it has some of his signature sort of song styles in these songs, and it works really well.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, just beautifully animated. There's an amazing sequence with Jermaine from Flight of the Conchords does one of the voices. There's just honestly, I would recommend 4 out of 5. Probably, let's say I'm gonna be bold. Film of the week. That's not really a section that we do. No, for me, 4 out of 5 is really good.
No, I mean, but film of the week isn't exactly impressive because you go to the film cinema so often.
Yeah, so that's good, right?
I mean, it's good, but it's not like you said you're going out on a limb. It's not like a huge accomplishment for them.
What do you mean?
But you're not.
That's a new honour. Like we haven't done film of the week before. That's how good it is. Right. It gets its own little like film of the week thing that we don't normally do.
All right, I guess that's more impressive than I was giving it credit for.
Exactly.
Apologies, Liam.
That's quite alright. It's not me you have to apologise to. It's the film.
No.
Also, you're going to have to maybe cut this bit. But you know how like sometimes you say that you're attracted to like animated characters.
Who says that?
You.
Yeah.
It's the first time when I kind of understood where you're coming from.
The girl in it.
Yeah. Problem.
How old is she?
Well, she's animated.
What was that? Yeah, she still has an age.
16?
Ooh, legal, but not okay.
Yeah, I know. But, like, animated. Like, they could animate her to be a couple of years older and it'd be fine.
Sure, Liam, sure.
Like, you might want to cut that.
Oh, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. But, you know, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is just sublime.
Yeah, is he good at voice? Has he done voice acting before?
I think he might have done. He's primarily known as a wrestler.
Well, I don't know if he is anymore, really.
I mean, that's where he started, I guess.
That's where he started, but I think now people would, if you said Dwayne The Rock Johnson, they wouldn't immediately think you were going to talk to them about wrestling.
That's true, because he's been in some cracking films.
Yeah, he's also just known as an actor now, right? Like, I mean it in, like, if someone said to me, oh,
Yeah.
you know Dwayne The Rock Johnson, I'd be like, oh, we're going to have a talk about a film.
I feel like he is possibly the only wrestler that's successfully made that transition.
Yeah, I don't know enough about
Like, I know
wrestlers.
Hulk Hogan did quite a few films back in his heyday, but I would still predominantly associate him with wrestling.
Yeah.
So, next film.
Yes.
Bleed for this. Do you know anything about that?
No.
It's a
I didn't even
boxing-
know you'd said the film title. I assumed you were telling me something.
No, it's called Bleed for this.
Oh, I thought you said lead for this without
So,
a B.
No, bleed for
Gotcha.
this.
Not sure. Feel like I might have maybe seen the name of it, or maybe you've mentioned it to me, maybe.
It's a boxing movie.
Oh, I saw you tweeting about it on our Twitter.
Yeah, and what's quite nice about this, right, is at the start of this year, I got into boxing films. I went to go see Creed, and I watched all the Rocky films leading up to it. I'd only ever seen the first Rocky film before, like years ago, like probably like a decade ago or so. And I didn't really dig it, and then I watched it again at the start of this year because I wanted to go see Creed, and I have to do my things in order, and loved it. So I watched all the sequels, and I went to see Creed, and then I watched Southpaw. So like I started the year with a lot of boxing, and it was nice it was like a nice little way to like bookend the year.
You started with boxing, you're finishing with boxing.
Yeah, I also recently picked up Raging Bull, which is considered like up there with Rocky as one of the like pinnacles in boxing movies.
Yes,
So-
I know of that film, which is
Yeah.
quite an accomplishment.
So Bleed for this stars Miles Teller, who I think is fantastic,
Yep.
and also Aaron Eckhart in like a supporting role, who is just so good. Like the physical transformation he's done for this film is very impressive in a way that's completely opposite to the physical transformation that Miles Teller's done for the film. Which I would even say, like Miles Teller, as much as I like him, in this film, he doesn't have that like physical presence that you get from like Stallone in Rocky or even Michael B. Jordan in Creed.
Yeah.
So the only thing about Bleed for this, I will say, is it's a biopic film. So if you know of the actual boxer that it's about, you're probably going to have a good idea how this film goes. But I knew nothing about him.
Who is the boxer that it's about?
Vincent Pazienza. But yeah, no, it was I didn't know how the film was going, so I enjoyed it, but it didn't have like any sort of one moment that really stood out and elevated it. It was fine, 3 out of 5. You know, I enjoyed myself while I was there, but nothing hugely stood out.
Yeah, that's fair enough, Liam.
And then the last film, right, so you know me, Jack. Even people that listen to last week's episode will know that I love my coming-of-age films.
Yes.
Can't get enough of them. Gobble them up like a Christmas turkey. And there was a new one out at the cinema, so obviously I had to go and see it. The Edge of 17.
Okay, I've heard of that one too, I think.
It stars Hayley Steinfeld.
I don't know who that is.
She's brilliant. Oh, also, Woody Harrelson is in it.
I know him.
Yeah, he is superb. Thing is, it's a fine film. It's absolutely fine. But the main character, like while Hayley Steinfeld is absolutely superb, the main character isn't the most likable. And I get that, like, if you're trying to accurately portray a 17-year-old, they're probably not going to be the most likable. So, like, I totally get what they're trying to do with it. It just, a lot of it felt like, you know when you're a teenager and everything just seems way too dramatic and it's just because you're making it that dramatic in your head?
Yeah.
You know, like we probably didn't do that so much, but if we were, like, teenage girls, you know...
I have a brother and sister, I'm aware.
Yeah, exactly. So it very much, like, by the end of the film, it did just feel like this was a movie essentially just about how this character approaches stuff, like, I don't want to say wrong, but in that very teenagey way.
Okay.
So...
But I mean, I guess that's a good thing in that it's accurate.
Yeah, it's accurate, but it doesn't necessarily make for the most enjoyable of films.
Fair enough.
Like, there's a few funny moments and stuff, but by the end of it, you are just like... I think, like, my takeaway was, I'm pleased I'm not 17 anymore. Which possibly isn't, like, the best thing to go away from a film thinking.
Well, maybe that's what they were aiming for, Liam.
No, entirely true. And if that's what they were aiming for, they knocked it out of the park. I just, it didn't, like, sort of set my juices going like most coming-of-age films do. So, 3 out of 5.
That's still fairly high.
Yeah, for me that's an average.
Yeah.
So, that'd be, if you're going to go see one, go to see Moana. Just if you're like me and you don't like children, be wary because they're going to be there.
Be wary. They're kids. They're not going to like fucking attack you.
Well, you say that, but some of the experiences I've had in cinemas, they might as well have done.
Yeah, but you've never actually been attacked by a child. I'd like to make very clear to our viewers, listeners.
No, but I felt like they were ganging up on me.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah, but I'm not the only one that went to the cinema, am I?
No, that brings us quite nicely, Liam, onto Jack's been to the films, and he went and saw a film, and this time he'll tell you about the film he saw, and he isn't going to spoil it.
Hooray!
I went to see, Liam,
Yes.
Sully.
Which I really want to see, because, you know, Tom Hanks, love, directed by Clint Eastwood. You know, he's done some good stuff.
Yeah. Tom Hanks in it, brilliant.
Yeah.
Like, he's a really good actor. He's incredible.
Yeah.
The film itself, it's got a really interesting middle bit.
Because it's based on a true story, isn't it?
It's based on that dude Sully, Captain Sully or something, who landed that plane on the Hudson River. Yeah,
because I think like the subtitle for this film is Miracle on the Hudson.
Yeah, which is what the newspapers were calling it around that when it happened.
Yeah.
It's based on a true story, so you know what's going to happen because, well, if you know the news story, I guess. But then it's got this really interesting middle bit, which is like I got really into. I was like, yeah, this is really good. It brought a couple of tears to my eyes. There were some emotional scenes that I was like, oh, that's great.
Yeah.
But the beginning of the film, way too long, really boring.
Yeah.
And the end of the film is like the same. They just show you a bunch of shit that you've already seen, and I didn't get why they were doing it.
That's a shame.
It is.
So,
but I am aware that I might be wrong here because the people I went with, one of them really enjoyed it.
Right, without spoiling it, what did the middle do differently?
Okay, right. The middle is like the first time you're seeing in the film the actual incident.
Yeah, that's what I kind of suspected. Like, you'd have the beginning would lead up to it, then you'd have the actual what happened, and then you have the aftermath, right?
No, it's not even laid out like that.
Okay.
It's all from the perspective of him afterwards.
Right.
The whole film.
Okay, got you.
It's just that they're like doing flashbacks to like, you know, you get flashbacks to the morning.
Yeah, is he sort of being like
incident.
asked about what happened and kind of being made to like justify the actions he took?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, I don't know. It was so like, I'd suggest it to people that are interested. Like, I think you should go and see it.
Yeah.
If you're not that interested in real life stuff, I guess. Even though I am, that makes it sound like I'm not. But if you aren't, don't go and see it.
Out of 5?
2.5.
Okay, and where does it rank for like Tom Hanks' performances? Because he's done some cracking stuff.
Yeah, like he's good in it.
Is it up there with like Captain Phillips?
I've not seen Captain Phillips.
Oh, you need to fix that.
No, I don't.
Why not?
Because all that stuff came out where the crew were like, yeah, that's not what happened at all. Captain Phillips is a dick.
Right, but that doesn't necessarily stop the film from being good.
Yeah, but it defeats the point of the film, which was to tell a true story. No, that's fair.
No, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, like the point of that film, when that film came out, it was all like, get the story, here's the story, we're going to tell it.
Yeah,
like, obviously some stuff's going to be dramatised, but the fact that the crew came out afterwards and were like, no, that's not what happened.
Yeah, but you can't then watch a film
me.
like so you can't then be like, well, I'm never going to watch that film, because like, honestly, Tom Hanks gives one of the best performances I've seen, and you're just
but I'm not like you. I don't need to watch a film because an actor did good in it.
But it's
I don't remember most actors, Liam. Like,
Jack, most films aren't based on true stuff. So just the fact that this it claims to be, but you're smart enough to be like, well, I know it's not. You can still then enjoy it as a film.
Yeah, but it's not even. But it does say it's based on true stuff, and then it isn't.
Well, that's what you just said. It is.
Yeah, no, it's based on the true events.
Yeah,
but it's not accurate in any way.
But you can still enjoy it. You can.
But I don't want to. I don't need to. I don't need to, Liam.
But you can go in knowing those things that you know because you're so smart.
It's not because I'm smart. It's because they told us.
yeah, and you can still kind of enjoy the film.
It doesn't sound like my kind of film.
I feel like you're the sort of person, and I do not mean this offensively because I know this. Like, there's a lot of people that are like this that kind of struggle to separate art from life. So, like, if an actor or an actress did something really bad in their real life, it would taint the way that you would view their like work.
Depends on what you mean. If, like, for example,
yeah,
I don't listen to Michael Jackson music anymore. If it's on,
exactly.
I won't be annoyed.
You can't separate art from life.
Well, no, that's different. Music's very different to film.
Well, like, why can't you listen to Michael Jackson? That doesn't stop his songs from being good.
No, it doesn't. But I don't need to listen to them and give money to the like whoever owns his estate now.
But I mean, if you just listen on Spotify, you're not really giving them money, are you?
No, you are. You bump up their listens, and they can then afford. Spotify will pay them based on their whatever.
But that's now going to someone who hopefully isn't a paedophile since
Yes, but they're making the money from someone who was potentially a paedophile.
Right. So
it's like if you went back. So
yeah.
Are you saying that you'd happily go back and watch like the entire series of Jim Will Fix It?
I mean, if it was a good show, like
from everything I've heard of kids in that era, Liam, everyone seemed to love Jim Will Fix It, except the people he was diddling backstage.
So let's put this in more realistic terms.
No. That is realistic because that's a real man who did a real show who was a real paedophile.
Yeah, but I'm not going to go back and watch the episodes because it's not my sort of TV show.
All right, go on. What's your more realistic version?
Let's just take let's say just hypothetically, we have to make this very clear. Let's say hypothetically that Kiefer Sutherland was incredibly naughty and did something really bad. Okay,
right.
I'm not going to stop enjoying like 24, Stand By Me, The Lost Boys because of that.
No, right.
That's insane.
I'm not saying that. No, like I said, Michael Jackson did do good music. I'm not dissing his music, but I don't listen to it anymore.
That's insane.
So if Kiefer Sutherland had done something naughty,
yeah,
right, I'd go, well, I still really like whatever these films, but I'm probably not going to watch them again. That's not an inability to separate art from life.
So, okay, here's my question then. Let's say Kiefer Sutherland had done a very good film that you hadn't seen, okay? Like, have you seen The Lost Boys?
Yeah, it's a good film.
Okay, that's just a film on that level that you hadn't seen, and you learnt that information about that person. Would you then be like, I can't watch that film now?
It's not a case of I can't, it's I don't want to.
See, that to me is mental.
Right, okay. So this is going to sound a little bit extreme.
Okay.
But this sort of makes sense to me. You know, I like doing my slightly over-the-top, exaggerated comparisons. Yeah. Right, so, say there's an art museum, like a legit art museum.
Yeah.
And there's a man in the real world who kills people, Liam, but then he turns their skin into beautiful tapestries.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Are you saying that you'd like to go and see them? Or would you be like, well, that's horrible. Those are people that he killed. I don't want to help fund a serial killer. Say he hadn't been caught, I guess.
Well, I think that's the difference. If he hasn't been caught, that's really weird.
Yeah, it's weird that the art museum has them if he hasn't been caught.
Yeah. Like, if it's someone that has been caught, okay, but it is
okay, well, he puts them online.
I see where you're coming with this, because it is an exaggerated thing.
It is really exaggerated.
Genuinely, if it appealed to my taste, right, if for whatever reason he drew like a wonderful picture of like a teenager in American high school having a great time.
But it was drawn on human flesh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't be like, oh, I can't look at that because the backstory behind it isn't nice.
Oh, okay. Well, see, I don't think I'm weird then, for my views.
Like,
I don't think you're weird either.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I'm just clarifying that I don't think me not wanting to watch shit that a paedophile has done. How did we get onto this subject?
I can't remember. Back to...
We were talking about Sully! It's a 2 out of 5.
And this
I
is
didn't really enjoy it.
It's down to 2 out of 5 now.
No, I said 2.5. Sorry, 2.5.
Okay. I did one other thing this week.
Okay.
My local comic book shop, as regular listeners will know, I'll go there for D&D. They've started a new campaign now on a different night. So D&D's still going. It's going great. Thank you for asking.
No problem.
What?
I said no problem. You said thanks for asking.
Yeah, you're welcome. We've started Call of Cthulhu now.
Okay, yeah, I've always wanted to play this.
Yeah, so the way we're doing it, we've got 2 characters each. It's a new group that I'm with as well. Like, one of the guys is the same, but it's other new people, and it's the same sort of DM. We have 2 characters, but we haven't introduced the second characters to the thing yet, because apparently, with a thing like this, it's so easy for your characters to die that it's kind of a good idea to have a backup ready.
Right, got you.
So I have a private eye as my main character, whose name is Dick Deeply.
Yep.
Because obviously, if you want someone to dig up the dirt on someone, you want them to dig deeply. So why not go for Dick Deeply?
Very, very good, Liam.
Thank you very much. So yeah, he's fine. One of his first rolls on a D100, he rolled a natural 1, which in like D&D would be terrible, but in Cthulhu you want to roll low because you're always trying to roll under your score.
Oh, okay.
So that's like the best roll you can get. So I initially, like in my head, this guy was like just the worst private eye ever. Had to change that a bit when he starts rolling natural 1s.
Jesus, Liam, that's not how it works.
Like, no, suddenly he's really good. Like, he's still pretty terrible, to be fair.
I don't get why you change a character from a dice roll, because rolling a nat 20 in D&D, right?
Yeah.
That's not my character's so good that he did something incredible.
No, but if you're like a bit
Like an
terrible...
archer could fire... Like, if someone was playing a clumsy character and then was like, I shoot my bow and got a natural 20, you just be like, yeah, he flukily hits someone right in the eye.
Yeah,
it's
this
incredible.
is what's happening with this guy. He's not very good, but like now and again he'll get quite lucky.
Yeah, okay.
And then my secondary character is a field researcher. Now, initially, it was going to be a woman, but I was told we're not doing gender swapping, so it had to be a man. She was going to be called Fanny Feelgood.
Of course.
Had to change that, though, to Francis Feelgood. Basically...
just a quick question.
Yeah.
This is set in the, like, H.P. Lovecraftian universe, right?
It's set in 1920s.
But is it like, it's the H.P... It's Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah. But it's set in our world, so like we're currently in London doing stuff.
Yeah, well, I think H.P. Lovecraft stuff was based in our world.
Yeah.
But, I mean, those aren't particularly Lovecraftian names.
No, I'm bringing an element of sort of James Bond to proceedings, if you will.
Yeah, okay.
So Francis, he got to specialise in 3 sciences, and I'm going to just see if you can figure out what kind of angle I'm going for with this character. When the 3 sciences he specialises in are archaeology, natural history, and I think the other one was geology.
Yeah.
Any ideas?
What, as in, like, sort of who he's...
Based off of. He's inspired by.
Is it Indiana Jones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gave him... I asked if I could have, like, a special whip skill. Turns out I can.
Of course you can.
So he's good with a whip as well. Doesn't like snakes.
That's a surprise.
So yeah, so far, like, I've only done one. We're doing this like campaign called the Orient Express.
Oh, okay.
We haven't quite got to the Orient Express yet, but it's going really good so far. I'm super enjoying it. What I like is, you know, like with D&D, it's all like fantastical, and you kind of can be a bit silly and like make up your own sort of like stuff.
Yeah.
This, obviously, it being set in like London, you know, in like 1920s London. If we want to go and investigate something, we have to go to like the British Library or something, you know.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that it's grounded in that realism, and we haven't quite got to the stage yet where the real like occult stuff started to happen. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how that is like slipped into the story.
Yeah. How does it work? Does it have like a combat system still? Do you fight things?
I honestly don't know. I basically know that the main mechanic that we've had to use so far is you have a sanity number.
Yes.
And if you see something that's really messed up, you have to roll for sanity, and even if you pass your roll, you will still lose 1 sanity point.
Fair enough.
So, and obviously, like I say, because you're trying to roll lower, the more messed up stuff you get, the harder it's going to get to pass that sanity roll.
Yeah.
So it's a really nice system. I like the way it's all set up. Like, you do have stats and stuff, like strength and whatnot, so I imagine... you do have weapon skills, like guns, shotguns, hand-to-hand combat, so I imagine there can be combat. I just don't know if like a fucking old god is going to appear that we can just start punching it in the face.
Yeah, I'd assume not. That tends to not be the Lovecraftian method of dealing with
I'm feeling like
gods.
Combat is going to be less important than like using...
Well, you'll probably fight the cultists and stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
And like Yog-Sothoth minions.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to just like seeing how this plays out. At the moment, I'm fascinated just by the story that's being told.
Yeah, yeah.
If you ever get the chance, I would recommend.
Oh yeah, no, I really want to.
Yeah, definitely. And that's it for catching up with for me.
Yep, I think that's me done as well.
Sweet. I hope you all enjoyed that then.
Housekeeping?
Yeah, housekeeping. I did a bit more of The Witcher 3.
How's that going?
Oh man, there's so much still to go.
Fair enough.
Have you done anything else, like Berserk or Witcher or anything?
No.
Do you know what? One thing I did want to talk about. I saw very recently that a trailer for Season 2 of Sense8 was released.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I'd like a trailer or like an announcement. I believe there's a Season 2 coming and also a Christmas special is coming.
Oh.
And I still haven't done any more than the 3 episodes we watched for the show because I'm still working my way through Smallville and it's going really terribly, don't ask.
Oh, well, you should fucking hurry up.
I know, I've done like 3 episodes so far this weekend and I'll probably do another one tonight. So I'm trying. It's just I have a really busy week next week, so I'm not going to be able to watch much. And I wanted to get it done by the end of the year, and I currently have more episodes than I would be able to do, like 1 episode a day for the end of the year.
Oh, jeez.
So I really need to like pull my thumb out my arse and get on with it.
Yeah.
But there's also like 700 movies waiting to be watched.
That's true.
So, and also like PlayStation games to play, and also Pokemon games to play, but we'll talk about that another time.
Oh.
We haven't really had any emails or correspondence either for housekeeping. Everyone loves us, basically, is what I'm getting from that.
Yeah, that's how we read it.
Yeah, like we've had a few like tweets and stuff come in. I do want to give a short shout out to one person who is called. His name is Corby.
Okay.
He is at CJNet_1 on the Twitter, and he's been tweeting us. He like, listens to the show quite regularly. I think he's gone back and listened to some of the older episodes. So just wanted to like say thank you, really.
Oh, fair enough. That's good.
And he'll tweet us every now and again. Like I tweeted about Edge of 17. And he said it has it in his DVD collection, and that he agrees with my rating.
Fair enough.
So, you know.
That's no surprise you like him then.
Yeah, exactly. People that tend to agree with me, it's a safe assumption that they're of a sound mind. Whereas if they agree with you, I just judge them instantly. So, that was housekeeping. Have you got any housekeeping to do?
Nope.
No? You haven't really been doing anything for the, like, previous stuff catching up on?
Nope, not really.
Alright, so now we're into Culture Swap.
Swap my culture.
And what did we do this time, Jack?
Liam, this time I suggested a graphic novel that I picked up called Nameless.
Now, you said last time that the reason why you suggested it is because you thought that I would like this.
No. Pretty positive I didn't say you'd like it.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure you said that you the reason why... Okay, maybe not why you suggested it. The reason why you added it to our list of things to do is because you thought I would like it, and you'd recommended it to me in the past, and you sent me a picture of a page of it.
The reason that I added it to our list, Liam, is because when I text you about this, in that message, you said add it to the list.
Yeah, because I'm
so not my fault at all that you ended up reading this. Your own fault, buddy.
Yeah. I had to buy a hardcover of it, Jack.
I don't care. I want to talk about the actual thing. I don't care that you had to buy a hardcover.
Okay.
Cool.
So, how do you want to talk about this?
I don't know. What did you think?
I thought it was brilliant.
Did you actually?
Well, I can't really have an actual opinion on it because here's the issue. Whatever I say, if I say anything
No.
about
Honestly,
it,
I'm not going to call you out on anything. Say what you want.
No. If I say anything negative, you're just going to go, oh, well, I knew you was going to say that. I said last week you was going to say that. So
I'm not going to do that. I'm interested in your opinion. I wouldn't have suggested it if I didn't care what you thought.
Alright, my opinion of it is I can see why, like, if let's say you had recommended it, I can see why you would have done.
I did.
Because there was a couple of pages here and there that almost felt like they were literally just copied from Crossed.
I don't know about copied. I know what you mean.
Yeah, like not.
I don't think copied
like,
is fair. I don't think Crossed can just claim gore as its thing. Now.
No. But like, okay, they would have fit in Crossed. Like,
yes,
naturally.
they would have. Yeah.
So I get why you might have recommended it or thought I would have liked it.
Well, I think that's what I sent you in that message so long ago.
Yeah.
Was the panel... Fair warning, everyone. We forgot to warn you.
Spoilers.
This will be full of spoilers. If you are interested in reading Nameless, turn this off now. If you don't really care that we're going to spoil it, keep listening. Or if you've read it before, keep listening. That's
One thing I would say is I think it's a very hard thing to spoil because I think to be able to spoil something, it has to have, like, structure. Like, there has to be a thing about it that you can spoil.
There are things that happen in this that if you knew beforehand would be spoilers.
Maybe. I mean, I'll be honest.
I mean, like, okay, so because I read it for the second time, right?
Yeah.
And I knew that Darius, the rich billionaire...
Yeah.
I knew that he was possessed, effectively, by the space monster from the beginning.
Was he?
Yeah.
Alright, here's what I would like us to do. Jack, can you please tell us what it's about?
Yeah, I can't do a short version. We sort of discussed this at the beginning, but because it is there is a logical structure and order, but it sort of falls apart and things seem to jump around a lot.
Yeah, but you know, we always do a nice brief, like, 2-sentence or less synopsis.
Not going to be able to do that for Nameless.
Well, you know, you can try.
No, you can't. You can't.
Okay.
A cult expert, that's occult with an O, ends up working for super billionaire who sends him to the moon to stop an asteroid hitting the Earth. Asteroid ends up being a prison for mythological titans. Lots of possession, lots of stuff. Does it turn out to be them? Is it all real? Who knows, is the brief synopsis of this graphic novel.
Yeah, so if that sounds like something that you like the idea of reading, you read like a whole book and at the end your takeaway is who knows if this is actually what I've read.
No, there's a legit answer. Because I'm so fascinated by this story, I've done a lot of researchy sort of reading into things.
Right, but my question is, okay, it entirely feels like the sort of thing that if you liked, you could research and get a lot more information from.
No, I didn't do it the first time I read it. This is only the second time.
I know, but what I'm saying
the first time I sent it to you after reading it, I literally put the book down and messaged you and was like, Liam, you need to read this.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, so you've done research to get stuff out of it, but...
No, you're not listening to me. You're doing that thing where you say yes, 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 and then you immediately say the thing that I'm telling you I didn't do.
Right, but...
I did it after the second time I read it, Liam. Yeah. Yes, I looked more into it, right?
Thank you.
The first time I read it, I still got a lot out of this book.
Yeah, but...
I had my own ideas on the story. Like, you don't come out of it and go, I don't know what happened. I have no ideas.
I did.
Right, well then you're a fucking idiot.
It's not that I had no ideas, it's that I genuinely feel like the structure of the book is deliberately obtuse in a way to make it seem smarter than it is, because you have to do like additional research and try and figure
you don't
stuff
have
out.
to. Right, so okay. So the thing that I looked up before we started the episode, okay? And the thing I looked up, what the guy said in it, like this, people were like, oh, we're having this big discussion on Reddit. So I was reading through the Reddit thread about Nameless, right? And the one that was like top rated was effectively the same ideas I'd had from reading it. Like, it's not here's the be all end all, what's every single bit in this thing. It's like, what's the story here? Or like someone being like, I think this is what happened. And you go, oh yeah, that makes sense, because that's what I sort of assumed had happened.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can assume a lot, but the film is deliberately
it's a graphic
done
novel
in such a way that it doesn't actually give you like clear answers. You can be like, oh, I think this, but you couldn't just from the book itself very confidently say, I 100% know this is what it's about.
Okay, so to counter that specifically bit, what you just said, right? When you read the book, okay, so basically it starts on Earth. He gets a key, whatever. He goes to the moon. They're stopping an asteroid, right? Yeah. As they're exploring this asteroid, he gets flashbacks to this other experience he had in a place called Razor House. Yeah. Where it's revealed that he killed 13 people, thinks that it was someone else, but then he finds out it was him. Yeah. Right? And then at the end, he meets a character who he meets a character at the beginning and then re-meets her at the end.
Which is the veiled lady, right?
Yeah. And she's like, I'm actually trying to help you. Yeah. This whole thing's been about helping you, effectively, right? Yeah. And then at the end, she basically confirms that. So the whole point of this guy's theory and what I had read into, right? Yeah. Basically, everything that happens in space isn't real. So he never goes to the moon. Basically, the start of this book, nothing happens in it that actually happens. It's all a metaphor for this creature that does exist, the monster, right? God. Yeah. That possesses him at Razor House, makes him kill everyone, and then the veiled lady eventually meets up with him and is trying to eradicate the creature from his mind, but the only way he can process that is by making it like a fictional story in his head.
I legitimately did not take that away from the film.
Well, that is what she says at the end.
Yeah, I was really lost because how does how does the asteroid play into that?
So there isn't an asteroid. The asteroid is a representation of the god trying to kill humanity.
The fuck?
So the asteroid, nothing that happens in space. Yeah. There's none of that happens. It's all her trying to clear the monster from his mind, trying to like unpossess him, exorcise him. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And his brain interprets that all as like this big story about how he's got to stop this asteroid and be a hero.
Now that annoys me because I actually the stuff that happened in space was my favourite stuff.
Yeah, no, and just because it's not real, it's still like some of the best parts of that graphic novel.
Yeah, but it almost feels like that then being like, well, none of it actually really happened. It undermines it a little bit. I feel
no, because it happens, but it's not real. I get what you're saying. Yeah. But it's not like the end of a film where they go, that was all a dream.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is, so the characters and stuff that are introduced in that section, right?
Yeah, they're all real. They're all real people. They're all from the Razor House.
But they're in the space stuff. They would just be like drawn from his mind, right? So
they're the monster. They're the monster making. Well, you can read it either way, because it could be that it's all just his mind. But the monster's real, that's the point, Liam. So, all the stuff that happens in his head, it's not just him trying to not be crazy.
Well, how do we know the monster's real? Why are we
Because that's what the Veiled Lady's fighting against. Because the Veiled Lady is real.
Yeah, but why are we...
And she's specifically like, I'm trying to deal with this giant monster thing.
I don't understand why we're trusting this Veiled Lady.
Because she's Sofia.
Yeah, I got that.
So you trust her because she's a good guy.
No,
Also, if you read, because you read as well, at the end of the book, he has his because the book is ridiculous and doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
He's like written 5 pages, and each one is like analysing one of the comics and being like, this is what we were trying to explain.
I didn't read that bit because I wanted to discuss like our thoughts and stuff on it before kind of reading someone being like...
Oh, see, but that's the thing. It doesn't, like, I think you're thinking it's going to help, which it doesn't.
No, I'm sure it won't. It would have probably annoyed me.
The only bit that applies to this is that the final part of that is him saying, he basically says the whole point of this story is women should, women are the heroes. That's literally what he says. Like, it doesn't...
But I honestly...
Did you get that? But here's the thing, Liam. Did you get that from this book? Because I didn't.
No, I didn't.
No, but that's what I mean. So he clearly was like, Sofia is the hero of this story.
Yeah, but
not
like, there's
nameless.
no like real evidence in the book itself that is what should be. Like, if the goal of the book was for him to make that point, the book failed.
Yeah, I don't think you can say that's the goal of the book. Also, no. You're the one that says it doesn't matter what a person you specifically have said to me. I'm not allowed to judge things based on what.
Like, if that was his goal, but that's not what happened, but you still either enjoy or don't enjoy it for whatever reason, just because that was the goal, it doesn't like invalidate your thoughts on it.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm just saying, like if I set out to make a short film with the goal being be kind to animals, but the film is literally just me eating spaghetti, and you don't get that from the film, I failed as a creator because I didn't get my goal across. But if you still enjoyed the film,
then it's still a good film. Yeah, okay, what you're saying.
I like the artwork. I really like the artwork.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just flicking through it now, right? This whole stuff about Sofia, and she's like the veiled lady, right?
Yeah.
Explain to me, if you will. There's a scene towards the end where, again, they're sort of in space, I guess, but it's not very clear. And they're both in their spacesuits, and she sort of attacks him in a way.
Yeah, that's when they're in the asteroid.
Yeah, and she kisses him. Like, how is that her helping him? Because I came away thinking Sofia was a bad person. Like,
well, no, because none of those people that are possessed. Like, this isn't me saying from like the theory's perspective, just from the book itself, right? Taking at face value, those people are all possessed.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Like, I don't think you can leave and be like, Darius is a right dickhead.
But I was very suspicious of her because her whole reasoning for going on the whole space trip thing, right, was that she was kind of like trying to, correct me if I'm wrong, but like prove herself a little bit. Like, her dad had the money to do it, basically, and she just wanted to. Yeah,
it is but then I don't think it's to prove herself. I think it was
suspicious of her.
She just wanted to save the world.
Yeah, I was just very suspicious of her motives. So I didn't really at any point feel like she was a character that I could necessarily trust.
Okay.
So, and then when that happens, to me, if you're already reading that with a suspicious mind, when she's then like on top of him kissing him and stuff, you're like, oh, even though she's possessed, like, this is what I guess she kind of, like, I didn't get it that she was the hero.
Well, I mean, she is the one at the end that saves the day, effectively.
I don't know how she saves the day. I didn't understand the end, Jack. Like, explain the last 2 pages to me, please.
I don't remember them. Do you want me to grab my copy as well? This is maybe what we need to do for this one.
Like, basically, I think
just sit here and be like, what the fuck is this?
I think it's the moon, and it looks like something crashes into the moon.
Yeah, which is meant to be the asteroid, but then if the asteroid isn't real, how does it crash into the moon?
Yeah, and then she says...
no, I get what you're saying.
It is done, and done well. All shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. And that's how it ends. And, like, to me, that just seems really fucking sinister.
Well, yeah, she is also, like, possessed by a parasite thing, I guess.
Wait, is real her possessed? I thought it was just space her, which was apparently a part of
Well,
his
real
mind.
her's not possessed, because at the beginning you find out about that face parasite.
Yeah.
And she says it's her husband.
Honestly, it just...
And then later on she says it's a memory. So I think you're worrying too much, Liam.
I think...
Now here's the thing. So here's my argument for why none of what you're saying matters, and why I still love this book. Because I don't care about that story. Like, I do. I think it's interesting and fascinating, and the fact that I've looked into it, I clearly have an interest. But after I finished this the first time, and I was sitting there and I was like, all these weird things happen and none of it makes sense. I love that. I think that's great. Like, why does it have to make tons of real sense? And why... it doesn't need to, and it doesn't, and it's still great.
That's where we differ. Because I'm happy for some things to not make sense. I think when I was reading this, I was reminded a lot of a film called Cube, which I think you've seen.
I've seen Cube. Cube's shit.
It's a great film. You need to shut your mouth. The thing is, there are unanswered questions at the end of that film. But the film itself, the plot of the film, makes sense, but there's like an extra layer to it that is left deliberately ambiguous. Whereas this, all of it is deliberately ambiguous.
Well, no, see, I don't think that's fair, because it does make sense. There's like tons of questions, and like, but if you, even without all that other stuff, right?
Yeah.
If you're just reading it as it is, it still makes sense.
It doesn't.
He gets a key. Okay, so like taking it at the straight face value. Yeah. None of the extra stuff. Straight like face value. He attacks the failed lady and steals a key, which he's been paid to do. A billionaire has paid him to do that and says, "Yep, you've proven yourself. Let's go to the moon."
Yeah, because
to stop the asteroid. Right. That's ridiculous, but makes sense.
Yeah.
They go to the moon.
Yeah.
They fly to the asteroid. You discover that the billionaire has been possessed by some sort of monster.
Yeah, there's a really weird sequence as well that comes after that. You discover he's been possessed, right? Mm-hmm. And then like in the next couple of pages or so, he's got like a little drone thing that he talks to people on.
That's why that's the bit that proves he's been possessed all along, Liam.
No, what?
Yes, because the drone shows a fake image. The drone is showing them fine. That's the whole point, Liam. And then later on, he turns that off and shows them the real him when he's attacking them with the drone.
See, I just thought that basically there is a point where it says that the drone, I thought it had like a delay or something, and I thought that's what was going on there.
No. He's been possessed the whole time.
Oh, it's just ridiculous.
It's all a plan for the alien monster to get them up there and unlock the door.
Of course.
Yes, because it's a prison. They tell you that.
Yeah.
Like, that makes sense. Don't of course it, because that does make sense. They say in the comic, they specifically say, "Shit, this is a giant prison, and we've opened the door." And then he attacks them, and he's like, "Yeah, you did what I wanted. Good job."
Yeah.
That makes sense, Liam.
Yeah, definitely. So carry on.
So yeah, they go there, they go to the asteroid, and then it sort of breaks down into madness.
Yeah, it does.
I love it. I think it's fucking great.
Yeah, like, this is 100% a Jack thing. Like, if I was to just come across this by myself and read this, I bet this is Jack all over. It's got sci-fi, it's got a little bit of horror, and it's just a lot of bullshit.
And the occult. Don't forget the occult.
Of course, there's the occult as well. Like, there's a lot of just names that don't really make any sense. Like Zabalba, I think. Probably pronounced.
Oh, yeah, they're all like Mayan gods, apparently. And Polynesian gods.
Yeah. It was described. I'm trying to find that there was a way the comic described what was going on, like Knights of the Round on the Moon or something.
Sure. I don't remember that.
Yeah. Basically, I think if you like the sort of thing that is very interpretive, you can read it and extrapolate your own thing completely from it. This is great. But if you like to do that, but also have a solid like foundation to do that from, this is less great.
So here's my argument then, right?
Yeah.
But like, or maybe not an argument, because I'm not saying it to be argumentative. This.
Yeah.
Right. Donnie Darko is a great film.
I was actually going to bring Donnie Darko up next, because when I was talking to Kat about this, I used Donnie Darko as an example.
Yeah, and which is a good example.
Yeah.
Because Donnie Darko doesn't make sense.
No. Which
is why there were like forums, and probably still are forums, of people being like, my theory is this.
Yeah, so Donnie Darko is a good comparison. Where I would say it differs, because again, I was thinking about this a lot. Donnie Darko, I think, still works as a film when you take out... If you remove the sci-fi elements to it, okay? There will be bits that do not make sense, but it still has this nice, like, almost like coming-of-age story to Donnie Darko, okay? That you have the whole him going to school, meeting a girl, how that plays out, and then you add the next layer, which is all the sci-fi stuff, the stuff with Frank, how it all ends, and there are clues sprinkled throughout, so you can extrapolate what that means, and you have to do a bit of research, I think. Like the whole stuff about like wormholes and space-time theory and all that sort of stuff. There's like clues to it in the film, but none of those clues are actually built upon enough that you can just watch the film and understand what it's saying.
Yeah.
So it's 100% to get everything out of Donnie Darko, you have to go and research, I think, to a degree. And I feel like Nameless is trying to do that. It wants you to take more from it. You need to go and research.
I don't think that's true.
No,
I honestly, I think you. Yeah, no, but you're saying that, I don't know if you can say this is how I feel when you're saying this is what they did.
No, I feel like this is what the book wants me to do. Okay.
Right. Okay.
So I feel like the book wants me to understand it better, to do more research and understand more things. The problem is with Donnie Darko, I had like a base level where I understood an element to it at least, like the main story, like I get this kid and all that sort of stuff. This doesn't have that base level of understanding for me.
I don't understand how you didn't get a base level understanding.
Like, I think it just... Where it lost me...
Again, this comic makes sense. There's bits that are weird.
There's a lot that's weird.
Like, okay, so here's the thing. Like you said, Donnie Darko does that, right? And you've got to go do research. But if you didn't do the research, there's a base story there that you can understand, right?
Yes.
But you would get to the scene with the shit coming out of everyone's chests.
Yeah.
And if you had no understanding, if you couldn't go, oh, maybe he's seeing where, like, clearly he's seeing where they're going because they show us that, or clearly that he's seeing their whatever tunnel presence bullshit, right? Yeah. You wouldn't, if you didn't have that base understanding, you couldn't watch that film and go, oh, okay, yeah. You'd go, wait, what? No, why has everyone got stuff coming out of their chest?
Yeah, it's only a short scene.
Yeah, and this makes sense, really, up until, like, there is a story that you can follow up until the veiled lady appears, and there's, like, a specific, like,
she
4
appears in,
pages.
like, the first page.
No, I mean the veiled lady turning up for the, like, when she comes to save him.
So I'd say it's split into, like, I think there's, like, 6 issues or whatever.
Yeah.
I was on board with it for the first, like, 2. Then by issue, like, 3 and 4, it was starting to lose me. And by 5 and 6, I was literally just reading it, but, like, it wasn't quite registering, because I wasn't being able to figure out where these things necessarily fitted in. Because there's a certain point where the spaceship... There's a really good panel where the spaceship crashes and they all separate, right? And it's from that point on that I started really struggling, like, piecing together where things went. Because the next bit is he wakes up being told that he's tried to claw his eyes out.
Yeah.
And then you have this weird, like, stuff where he just seems to be, like, in a hospital room or something, and people are just, like, talking to him normal. And then he goes back into the whole space stuff. And I think the thing is, but the last, like, couple of issues were just so all over the place for me that I couldn't fit where they went into the stuff that did make sense.
Okay. Well, I do get your arguments for it. Like, I get what you're saying. I would disagree with you on it not making sense or whatever. Like, I loved reading this and thought it was great and loved following along with it. Like, it didn't lose me when it started doing that. It just grabbed me even more because I was like, cool, I need to know what's happening. Yeah,
and I think that's what's important to say about this is I think while it might not traditionally make sense in like...
Stop saying that, because that's your opinion.
Yeah, no, but I mean, what I mean by that, like, traditionally, is, I mean, it's not like characters go from point A to point B and everything is solved by the end. Like, it doesn't follow your typical traditional structure, either.
No, but neither does Memento. So
yeah, I'm not saying this as a critique. I'm saying...
I don't know. It annoys me when you're like... Because I get what you're aiming for when you're saying this.
Yeah.
You're going to say, yes, I think there are people that are going to love the way this works, or there are people that are going to not like it, right? Which I agree with.
Yes.
But the people that will like it, they're not going to be sitting there going, this didn't make sense, but I love it. There'll be people that got it.
If it didn't make sense to you, you could still love it.
Yeah, that's fine. But it does make sense to some people, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think some people would definitely... I think...
I don't think it's a case of there is no story here to understand. I think it didn't appeal to you, which is fair enough.
I enjoyed the first, like... first issue I enjoyed.
Yeah, and that's cool, Liam. Yeah. I'm fine with that. I'm glad you did.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, when you started losing interest in it, and didn't, like... You were like, I can't figure out what's happening, I don't care, whatever, right?
Yeah.
I think if you were the opposite, if you were like I was, where you were like, oh cool, I'm really into this now, I want to figure this out, when shit doesn't make sense, I'm not sitting there going, well, that doesn't make sense, but it's incredible. I'm sitting there going, oh, well, what is this, like, trying to fit it together, right?
Yeah.
So then it does make sense to me, because I fit it together and it followed it got followed along with what I took from it, sort of thing.
Yeah, I think it's that sort of thing where it's the sort of thing, the more you bring to it, the more you can take from it.
Yes, that's a fair way of saying it.
Yeah. I think for me, it didn't hook me enough that I wanted to bring a lot into it to figure it all out, to take a lot away from it.
That's fine. I
think a good comparison to this would be a film that you recommended to me, which I didn't mind, called Event Horizon.
Oh yeah, I really like Event Horizon.
Yeah, I feel like this would fit into that sort of genre of things.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I'd say there's not a lot that this will compare to.
No, probably not.
No. The art is really good though.
The art is incredible.
Yeah, you know, put it this way. After the first issue, I've thought back to the discussion we had on it last week, and I was like, it's all like spaceships and weird stuff. Blah, blah, blah. And by the end of the first issue, I was like, oh shit, man, maybe I've misjudged this. And then by the end of the six, I was like, nah.
No. Okay, so, like, do you get what I was saying last time about not assuming it's... Because it's got sci-fi in it, but I don't think the main point... Like, there's no, lasers and shit. Like, the main antagonist is a mythical occult thing, as opposed to a sci-fi monster.
A sci-fi book.
Yeah, no, it is, but do you get what I was saying when I was like, don't just assume it's... Like, because fucking that new film with Chris Pratt in it and what's-her-face?
Yeah.
That's a sci-fi film, but the core story's not going to be a sci-fi story. It looks like the core story's going to be, from what we've seen in the trailers and stuff, the core story's going to be a love story.
Too much. Yeah, but like sci-fi is such a wide thing that can cover sci-fi.
Every genre is such a wide category.
Well, westerns aren't that much.
Westworld is kind of a western.
Also a sci-fi.
Also a sci-fi, because they're wide.
One thing I would say, on the back, it says, it gives a very brief description, okay? It says, a veiled lady hunts her victims through human nightmares. Because I was looking through the back, and I was like, well, it sounds like we're going to be following a couple of different stories here, and that one particularly stood out. Like, I think I'll enjoy that story. Didn't really feel like a story point, like a plot point throughout. It literally appears at the beginning and then reappears at the end. I wouldn't, personally, have put that on the back of the book as a way of
really, Liam? What the fuck would you have written for a blurb for this? Exactly. I think someone went, so can you just give us like a blurb? And they went, what? And they were like, oh, it needs a blurb on the back. And they went, right, it doesn't really fit that.
Yeah.
And someone went, no, write a fucking blurb. So they just went, right, fine, and just wrote whatever.
I'd have written, pretentious, abstract, sci-fi waffle.
How is it pretentious?
Let me count the ways, Jack.
Go on.
Let me count the ways.
Please.
The whole... all of it, basically.
Why is it pretentious?
It just... It feels smug.
Whatever. See, this is when your bullshit annoys me the most. When you apply... Like, it's the same thing you did with Sense8, where you have, like, this issue where you think, yeah, you did, but you also complain about shit, and then you're like, yeah, because I think the director was doing this. And you're like, no, Liam, you think they did that, but no one fucking does.
Yeah.
Like, it's you applying character to the people behind things that you don't know is a thing. You're just assuming.
Yeah, I feel like that, when I say it has this like smug feeling about it, I think it knows that it's being deliberately obtuse in a way that it's like, it feels snooty. It feels like it's a bit like, we know that this is quite dense and quite difficult to penetrate and crack. And there will 100% be people that won't feel that way, and they'll understand it quite quickly, and it will just click for them. But that will be a minor part of the audience. And they're like, I actually think for some people, and I'm not saying this is for you, I think for some people, what they will enjoy about it is that like smug feeling they get when they read it, and they're like, oh yes, I'm going to say I understood it because it makes me feel good.
Do you not get what my problem is with you saying shit like that?
No.
You try and give this, and it's this fixation. You've done it to a few things that I've suggested we watch.
Yeah.
So I think what it is when you watch something new. I'm not saying this is because it's me that you're saying this.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's because it's something new, right? Because all the stuff you suggest is stuff you've already read, so you like it, so you haven't got this issue with it.
Most of the time, yeah.
I think you have a tendency.
A couple of times we've done something that we were both doing.
Yeah, but then that's not something you've suggested, really. That's something that we've both been like, oh, that's good, we should do that.
Yeah.
But so what I'm saying is, you have a tendency to read something, and it's what you do in real life as well.
Yeah.
So I see why you do it, because you do it with everything, where you assume that something negative is happening.
Yeah.
So in this example, someone is looking down on you because you didn't get one scene, and you're like, well, fuck them for thinking that I'm not going to understand that. What a condescending bunch of pricks.
Fuck them at any point.
No, I know. I'm exaggerating. Again, that's what I do, Liam.
Yeah.
But that is how it feels sometimes. You're like, well, fuck this guy. You're not saying that. But like, you apply this emotion to something. Like, I just think, the way I imagine that Grant Morrison sat down and wrote this, and Thingy Majoogle, the artist, should have looked that up and can't remember what it was.
Chris Burnham.
Yep, him.
Yeah.
Right? I think when they sat down and came up with this idea, I don't think it was two guys going, you know what we should write? Something ridiculously hard for people to understand. And when all the other people don't understand it, we will sit here and laugh. And we'll look at blogs. And when someone messages the blog saying, hey, can someone explain this to me because I didn't get it? We will drink our whiskey and our wines. And we will smoke a cigar and laugh at the poor peasants. I think it was two guys who wanted to write something. And were like, this is the idea we've got. Like, how weird can this get? We should make this crazy thing. I don't think they were trying to make you look bad or anyone look bad.
That'd be a hard task.
Well, no, because you're doing this negative thing you do, which makes you look bad when you do it.
No, but this is the thing. I think this perfectly encapsulates how we both see the world, though. In that you'll just
you assume everyone's trying to be mean, and no one is.
Yeah, and you'll just assume the best out of everyone. Whereas the reality is there's probably a middle ground. Like, we don't know for certain that they're not sitting back, drinking their whiskey and laughing at the poor peasants that don't understand this.
Except that I read that bit in the back, Liam, because it's my second time, so I decided to read it.
Wow.
And they lay out what their thoughts were for this, and it's incredible. And it sounds like it was more an artistic idea that they were going with. The way they describe it is they were trying to write something that had elements of film in it, which they say, like, a bunch of the box sizing on certain cells is done to look like a letterbox as opposed to the traditional comic sort of square.
Yeah.
Which I thought was quite interesting. And then they said, and they wanted it to, instead of be the linear narrative that most things were known for, they wanted to see what they could do with a non-linear narrative, and also, like, take their inspiration from the way music is written. And I think it's two guys who were like, let's do an experiment.
Also, like, playing into how much I like the artwork, I did like the way it was laid out as well, like the panels and stuff.
Yeah, it is done in quite a cool way.
I think they is the absolute highlight. Like, Chris Burnham did a fantastic job with this. Grant Morrison, less so.
Whatever. Grant Morrison, I think you're a fucking legend. I think everyone that works on this is a legend, including the letterer.
And honestly, here's the thing as well. I am 100% aware that I'm in the minority with this. Like,
I don't think you are. I think you'll be in the majority. I think if we sat everyone down...
We've had 2 people tweet about this.
Yeah, we have. But that's the 2 people that have read Nameless who care.
Yeah, we had 20th Century Geek tweet saying they really enjoyed the series, but it took a second and possibly third read-through to fully understand what was going on. Which is fun. Like, for me, I didn't like the first read-through enough to then want to go and read through again. And we also had the Lin-Manuel podcast, who said that they loved this book until reading this comic, their lives were empty without an occult space horror book based on Mayan mythology, and it gave them crazy, scary nightmares. Which, none of it was, like, had enough of an impact on me that it like, had a lasting enough impression for me to then, like, have a nightmare or anything about it.
Well, no, I don't think I had any nightmares, but I get it. He might have also, not been saying that literally. Although if he was, I would enjoy having a nightmare based on this.
Okay, that's a bit messed up.
Because it would be insane. It would make no sense. And I'd be like, holy shit, what the fuck did I just dream?
Yeah, that's what most dreams are like, though, right?
Well, no, dreams tend to have a narrative that you can follow. Oh, like, weird stuff happens in them, but in the moment, you don't think of it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. What would you give it out of 5?
4.
Solid 4?
Yep. You?
1.5?
Fair enough. Very low.
Yeah. But I honestly, I wouldn't not recommend it to someone. I would recommend it to people who I like you.
I don't know what that means, Liam, so I'm going to take it as a compliment.
It's not an insult. Like, if someone was like, I fucking love Event Horizon, it's like one of my favourite things, I'd be like, well, do I know a comic for you?
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Like, dark sci-fi that doesn't lend itself easy to explanation.
Sure. What are we doing next time, Liam?
Well, Jack, next time, it's bloody going to be Christmas. Can you believe already? Christmas again.
I'm so excited. I've already listened to my Christmas playlist for 3 days in a row, I think.
Well, I'm really excited to do our annual bumper Christmas special episode.
Yep, so am I.
Because obviously we know what happened last year, don't we?
You watched 3 films instead of 1 and made me watch a pile of shit.
So, let's see what's going to happen this year.
Effectively, last year was sort of annoy Jack as much as you can day. Don't worry.
What was that?
I said effectively it was annoy Jack day.
That's like my Christmas.
Yes, if you can piss me off.
Yeah.
Which is very easy.
Well, here's the thing. I considered your feedback to the film I gave you last year, and I the things that you didn't like about it. So we're going to try something a little bit different this year.
Okay. I have one question.
Yeah.
Which is the only one I think of at the moment. Is it a horror film?
Yep.
Okay, so when you took my feedback, did you ignore a lot of it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to clarify that.
Well, the thing is, Jack,
with
Christmas, there's a few films that they're very typical. You know, like Miracle on 34th Street. It's a very typical Christmas film, isn't it? And you've given me a very typical Christmas film, which
we haven't said that yet,
I'm happy to do.
Yeah.
I know, but I have inside knowledge. I'm very happy to do. Like last year, you gave me a very typical Christmas film, so I like to bring an element of edge. And also, one of the things I would like to point out is we're doing something very special because we haven't done this in a long time, where we're both giving ourselves something different to do, which is what we used to do, and then we changed that, didn't we?
We did, because it made more sense. Like, it was harder for us to compare stuff when we were doing two separate things.
Exactly. And it's hard to have like a real deep discussion without the podcast running really long.
Yeah, exactly.
So...
But for our Christmas specials, we go back to the old formula.
Which are bumper episodes, aren't they? So
yeah, they're allowed to be slightly longer.
So this year, to get you feeling happy and festive, it's a film from 1984 called Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Okay, yeah, this is the film I thought you were going to suggest me.
Why did you think
I've never seen it, but I remember you watching it at uni.
Okay.
Did you do it for something at uni? Was there like... I sort of vaguely remember there being like...
No, I was just watching Christmas horror movies.
Yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
Because I don't, Christmas... I don't feel like it's a good reason to not watch horror.
No, that's fine, that's fine. So, I don't know anything about this movie. I know that it's... I know there's killing in it.
Oh, there was controversy when it was released, Jack.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes.
That's interesting.
Is
it like... How does it rate? What do you rate this film as? Or do you not want to give it away? Do you think it's a good film, or is it like a alright film?
It's alright.
Okay.
Like, put it this way, the benchmark for Christmas horror-themed movies, I would say, is probably the original Black Christmas.
Okay, yeah, I've never seen that.
It's also a fun little fact. It's one of the, like, not the first slasher film, but it's definitely an early example of the slasher film.
Okay. Well, I like slasher films.
Yeah, and so... this is a slasher film, you know?
We'll see. We'll see if I like it.
We will.
God. And sort of to counter that, I guess, because I love Christmas so much and want everyone to feel Christmassy, I've suggested my favourite Christmas film ever, which is Elf.
Which I've seen before, and it's a good film. I have no issues with Elf.
Yeah, so we're going to get to watch one good Christmas film.
I wouldn't say it's my favourite Christmas film.
No, Die Hard's your favourite Christmas film.
Yeah.
Elf has always been, since it came out.
Yeah.
Like, my whole family loves Elf. To be honest, I'll probably watch this one with them.
Yeah.
It's just such a good film.
That's fair enough. I can't argue with you there. It's a fine film. I probably wouldn't put it in my top 5 Christmas films.
That's fine. You don't have to.
Like, Die Hard would be up there. I think Home Alone would be up there.
Oh, that's true. Home Alone's always good.
Yeah, like there's a lot of good stuff. I'm probably picturing it to be better than the Santa Claus trilogy.
Yeah, I think.
Here's the thing: I don't think there's a sequel or anything to Elf, so I can't.
Yeah, no. So what I've got to do, so from now on, when I suggest you a Christmas film for our special, I'm gonna have to pick something that doesn't have a sequel, so that you can't annoy me by watching all of them.
Yeah. The thing with Silent Night, Deadly Night is this is going to start what will be a 5-year tradition.
Yeah, that's you have said that before about what you were picking. You've known what film you're picking for most of this year, I think.
Ever since the end of last year, when I was like, shit, I should have picked that for last year.
Yeah. So prepare yourselves, listeners, because this is probably the first in a sort of 5-part Christmas special bonanza for the next 5 years, if we're still around.
I don't see why we wouldn't be.
True.
Unless it gets to the point where you're like, we're like 3 in, and if you recommend me another one of these fucking films.
True.
I'm really excited.
I'm glad you are. I'm indifferent at the moment. I don't know whether I'm going to enjoy it or not. I hope I do.
Can I give a little teaser?
Yeah, go on.
As excited as I am for this year, I am twice as excited for next year.
Oh, okay.
So take that what you will.
That's fine. That's like, like the first Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Most people, like, that's not even got him in it.
No. Well...
Right at the end.
Yeah. Next year's going to be a good one. And people out there that have seen the sequel, they'll know why. But obviously, I can trust that you're not going to go above and beyond and watch 5 of these films.
I'm really not.
So I'm pretty confident that this is going to be a nice, 5-year journey we're going to go on.
Oh, good.
It's exciting, Jack.
It is.
It's Christmas time, there's snow and stuff going on, Santa's being jolly, and it's a good time.
If you want to get in contact with us, you can tweet us at nerdonnerd, or you can email us at nerdonnerdpod@gmail.com. You can also, if you want to be really nice, rate us on iTunes. We accept 4 or 5-star reviews. 3 we'll accept, but we'll be moody. 2 and 1 we please ask you not to put.
I'll
because
complain.
It's mean. Liam will write to the maker of iTunes.
No, I'll complain on the show.
Oh, okay, or on the show.
That's not a reason to do it, by the way.
I mean, it'd be quite funny. If I was you, listeners, I would be tempted, but please don't.
Yeah,
I'm asking you not to.
We need to wrap this up because Jack needs to go poopy. So
it's so bad, guys. It's real bad.
YouTube, you can find us, just type in Nerd on Nerd, all one word. Is that it?
Yeah, bye!
Bye, have fun pooping.